Waiting, you're live.
Welcome to WagerTalk Today, the gold standard of sports betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. It's Wednesday, bowl season officially rolling around. We got college football, college hoops, NBA. Ralph Michaels is going to join us. We're going to talk Old Dominion, USF, and Vanderbilt, Memphis. Drew Martin's going to join us, cover the 68 Ventures Bowl. I'm so glad they didn't go with the numbers on each side of 68. I'm glad they picked 68. We're also going to talk Creighton and Xavier. And Ross Benjamin's going to join us. We're going to hit Cavs, Bulls, Grizzlies, Timberwolves in the NBA. We got lots of action, lots of opportunities. We're going to do a quick little Steam report. There's not much. But did anybody in the chat get Cam cooked yesterday? Anybody suffer the Cam Cook treatment like we did? Star running back. Doesn't opt out before the game. He opts out like at the end of warm-ups. Like, nobody had the slightest clue, and all of a sudden he comes out and he's in clothes. Welcome to bowl season, everybody. Incredible stuff. All right, let's go through a little bit of a Steam report. There is not much to report here. I'll start with the NBA. A little action on the over in Cleveland, Chicago. Not too much. A touch of action on the under in Minnesota and Memphis, but we're still waiting on a couple of big-name questionables in that one, John Morant, Anthony Edwards, so we're going to have to wait on that one. We move to college basketball. A little bit of money on Xavier, but we'll get the official breakdown on that play a little bit later. In college basketball, Old Dominion opened up as a favorite. James Madison is now the favorite in that game, so there's a lot of money coming in on that. UC Santa Barbara, that line is up to 5. I see 5.5, so if you want to bet that one, you want to bet it ASAP. If you want to bet on Green Bay, just wait. We do have a lot of money coming in on Elon. Richmond opened up -5. They've gobbled up the 5s, the 4s, the 3s, and now I am even seeing 2.5s on there. So that's going to be most of the Steam report. Other than that, I don't see a whole lot of big moves. A little bit on UAB, a little bit on Arkansas State, and a little bit on Marquette. Other than that, most of the lines are holding. Oh, one more, Santa Clara. Later tonight, Santa Clara opened up as 8.5. That line has moved up to 11.5, so that's shot through 10 all the way up to 11.5. So if you like Santa Clara, get on that one sooner rather than later. I can take a look at hockey. A little bit of action on Utah against Detroit, and we've got a lot of money coming in on Carolina. So that's going to be your Steam report. Let's bring in Ralph Michaels. Ralph, happy Wednesday. Hope everything's going good for you. We're going to talk this Old Dominion USF game, the Cure Bowl. Old Dominion. Cure our ills here, Ralph. Give us if the symptom is a declining bankroll, give us the cure for that. How do we break down this game? -2.5, over under 52.5.
Well, there's a lot of opt-outs in the bowls, and we have to make sure we're aware of those and people hitting the transfer portal. And I would say this bowl game is as affected as any with the opt-outs. It's not the number of opt-outs, it's the 2 players, one on each team, that have opted out. You look at Brown for USF. USF was an elite offense this year. Byron Brown, a 4th-year player, 3rd-year starter, was #1 in the NCAA in total offense, 347.2 points per game, 8.07 yards per play. Colton Joseph, people may not know him from Old Dominion. He was #8 in total offense in the country at 302.6 yards per game, and even better yards per play, 8.1 yards per play. ODU, a very slow-paced team. They were they were about number 60 on the season in plays per game. But when they played a team with a winning record, and they only played 3 of them, they absolutely slowed it down. They were number 128 in plays per game. They will have a young quarterback in Quinn Heinkel. It's not Heineke. I know it sounds the same, and people are going to say it is, but it's not. He's played 5 games this year, Andy. He's made 15 passes, and he's had 20 rushes. Last year, he started 1 game. It was in the bowl game. He had 12 passes, and he ran the ball 19 times for 206 yards. So with both replacement quarterbacks, clearly I feel Old Dominion is in a better place. USF was a very fast-paced team, number 36 in plays per game. But when you're missing the experience of a guy that almost threw for 8,000 yards for your program and over 60 passing touchdowns, you know that the offense is going to have to vanilla down, work much slower, and get him in rhythm. On the USF side, we have both teams with 9 wins. That actually makes it an exciting game because someone's going to reach that 10-win season, which is always a staple for your program. Differences here, Old Dominion has their entire coaching staff back. And for USF, they, of course, lost their head coach to Auburn, and he basically took the entire offensive coaching staff with him. In fact, they were so hurting on the offensive side, quarterback Brown for USF will help the coaches coach the young quarterback today. So he is not playing, but he is staying with the program and being part of this bowl game where Colton Joseph for Old Dominion already in the transfer portal and gone. I will say this. I think it's different in the bowl games. If you have a coach that leaves you to go to an SEC team, you can't really feel hurt. He built this program and he made them good enough where he got that job. And also, if you're an offensive player for USF, you got to be ecstatic to get the OC from Ohio State. If you're a quarterback, if you're a receiver, if you're anyone on the offense, you're looking forward to this game. The game being in Orlando, probably an edge to Old Dominion. They get to go to a Florida Bowl while USF is just traveling an hour and a half down I-4 to play in Orlando. I want to give you 3 bowl systems that apply to this game. And again, bowl systems are unique, especially now with the transfer portal. But I just want you to think about this. Teams that are off back-to-back wins and back-to-back covers, like USF, they have a positive momentum going into a bowl game. Well, those teams are only 77 and 95, 45% against the spread in bowl games. Teams like USF, off back-to-back games scoring 35 points or more, with the layoff in a bowl game, they're only 45 and 78, 36.6% against the spread. And teams like Old Dominion that have 9 or more wins, they're a dog of 1.5 or more, and they won their last game, are 33 and 19, 63.5%. Coaching edge Old Dominion, quarterback edge Old Dominion. USF has a massive special teams edge. A lot of people don't put enough credit in special teams, especially in the bowls. I wouldn't be surprised if USF does score a special teams touchdown here. But I'm going to go with this, Andy. I'm going to go with first half under 26 or 26.5. Old Dominion is going to be slow with a running quarterback. USF cannot play anywhere near the pace they have. They have 2 strong running backs. They're going to lean on them. The reason I also want to use the first half is in bowl games, when a team is losing, we start seeing flea flickers and double reverses and running back passes and all those things in the second half. I think with the 2 young quarterbacks, they try to get the pace established. They try to establish the O-line. So I think there's positive value. I'll tell you what, I'll split this best bet here. Half a unit, first quarter under 10.5. Half a unit, first half under 26 or 26.5 in this evening's bowl game.
I like it. I like it. Ralph, I asked the chat, share something positive that's happened. I need a little pick-me-up this morning. So Indy Jarhead says he's heading out to his first Rose Bowl. There we go. There we go. AWB, I'm taking a hot date to the Golden Knights game tonight. There we go. I need some more positivity in the chat here, guys. Tell me something good that's happening to you. Ralph's got a new place down in Florida. That's awesome. You were telling me about it before, so congratulations to that. So let's share some wins here in the chat. Been a bad morning for me. So let's go to 2 teams. Hopefully it's not bad days for them. Vanderbilt and Memphis going to college basketball here. So we got Vandy minus 9.5 on the odds logic screen. This line has moved towards Vandy, but we still have the over-under holding strong at 158.5. What do we do with Vanderbilt and Memphis?
All right, everyone in the chat room, raise your hand if you thought Vanderbilt football would get 10 wins and Vanderbilt basketball would start 10-0. We talked about Indiana not being a power in the Big Ten, Andy, and getting their first Big Ten championship. My God, what a story for being a Commodore sports fan now. And I will say this. I'm not going to put a lot of stock into it, But I truly feel when a school like Vanderbilt or Indiana has one program that all of a sudden rises up, it helps all the other athletic programs. More people start going to the games. You start getting better coverage. People are more interested, more involved. It helps recruiting. So this Vanderbilt football basketball thing really play off each other. We'll see if the Hoosiers do the same thing with football this year. I mean, with hoops this year, which I think they're well. I like this Vanderbilt team. And why do I like it? It's because this. Yes, they're 10-0. They have not played a very tough schedule, middle of the road. You know, they're about 175 in the Ken Palm ratings, but they have been tested. They went to UCF on the road. They win by 8. They go to VCU, who Ken Palm has ranked as number 45. They beat him in a neutral setting. They beat St. Mary's, who Ken Palm has ranked number 32. They beat St. Mary's by 25 points. Then they took care of SMU at home by 19 last 2 Wednesdays ago, in fact. They did have a warm-up game. They had 10 days off. They had a warm-up game against Central Arkansas. I am not concerned they only beat Central Arkansas by 11. Remember, now we get unique layoffs depending on when the schools have their finals. Most teams schedule that entire week off so kids don't have to play, can practice less, take care of their grades. So that first game back against a weak opponent is the situation I like to fade. Now they're going back on the road. Vanderbilt is a team that has no superstars. They have no one that's going to sniff the NBA, but they have one of the most experienced teams in all the country. When you look at their D1 experience, their average player has 2.65 years of experience. That is number 7 in the country. They also have 4 players. All 5 players have started every game this year. The only person not a senior was a freshman last year that played 33 games for them. So a very, very experienced team. Memphis, only 4-5, but they played the number 10 schedule. They're 7-2 against the spread in that time frame. The one thing I don't like about Memphis is they've got a lot of new guys, and Penny Hardaway is not happy. He plays a lot of players. The bench minutes, number 12 in the country, which means he uses his bench as much as any. He's had a lot of different starting lineups. In fact, when I look down, Memphis has 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They've had 12 players that have started a game this year, and 4 players that have started a combined 10 games are banged up, and we're not sure if they're going to see action here. I do like this Vanderbilt team. In fact, I did make this a 2% client play. Memphis on offense, number 259. On defense, number 151. They did play at Louisville. They got ran out of the gate, losing by 24 on Saturday. They have a game at Mississippi State on deck, an SEC team they play very often. So a very, very difficult scheduling spot. Baylor, Louisville, Vanderbilt, and Miss State on deck. That type of pressure for teams that aren't playing well, for teams that don't have continuity, that keep changing their lineups, Vanderbilt gets it done. Vanderbilt runs them out in the second half. They win 85-70.
Ooh, calling the correct score. All right, if Ralph gets this one right, everyone gets free pet. No, I'm just kidding. Love the correct score, Ralph. That was pretty good. I'm glad Rob tried to make a joke in the chat. Now he's walking it back, and it's quite funny. Shout out to you, Rob. Ralph, we got some really good, not really good, we got some incredible promos coming up. So tell us about a couple of these promos that we have going on. I know we got the Blitz that's coming up on Thursday. Surely we're in the heat of the college bowl season. So like the Blitz is going to be one of the most important shows that we're going to have. So tell us about some of these promos and tell us about the Blitz.
Yeah, Ross, of course, Ross Powers and I will be on tomorrow, 2 o'clock on Tuesday. We'll be breaking down the championships and the rest of those bowl games, so stay tuned. Probably the number one special that jumps out to me this week, you get 10 days for the price of 7. That's like getting a free 3-day all-access pass, which is $69 by itself. Now, if you're not interested in trying for a long-term package, I do want to mention I have my first college basketball 5% of the season I won 3 of my last 4 college basketball regular season 5% last year. And if you want to try that 5% for half price, how about this? First CBB 5. It's my first college basketball 5%. So if you go in, purchase my 5%, use the code FIRST, FIRST, CBB, and the number 5, no spaces. You'll get my 5%, first 5% college basketball play this evening for just $17.50. So either way, the 10-day all access is even a better deal. If you just want to try that one play, jump on board. You'll be glad you did. Andy, I do want to say one more thing. I may be going up to Cleveland to visit my son for Christmas, so I will not be here next week. I do want to thank each and every Wager Talk viewer. The happiest of holidays. Be safe. Have a wonderful time. And I'll be talking to you in 2 weeks.
From Florida to Cleveland, Ralph Michaels, everyone. Interesting trip there. Thank you so much, Ralph. Great work from everyone there at Ralph. So, yeah, Ralph's got a new place, and it's awesome. We're trying to get him to do a spot from his balcony overlooking this golf course and this lake. It's beautiful, beautiful. So, all right, yeah, full disclosure. I'll tell you when I win, tell you when I lose. It's not been a good few days. We've been crushing it since late October, and regression hit us pretty hard the last 4 or 5 days. So, good lesson here. What happens when you're not running very good? You look and see if you're just regressing back to the mean, if you've hit a cold streak, and you pull back a little bit. So we're going to be pulling back on some of these plays. I think I only have one play in for clients today outside of our darts plays. The darts kind of stand on its own. It's part of a bigger package and bigger formula, but I've only got one NHL play. So losing streaks are fine. It's part of the business. It's always frustrating when it happens, but yeah, the last few days just have not been good. Some of the sports we've been running really, really good in, we've taken a step back. So it's okay. We weather the storm. We make sure we don't bury everybody. We make sure we don't really crush our bankrolls, but it's been a very, very frustrating last couple of days. We were trying to do a big sprint towards the end of 2025, but that's turned into a jog. Someone say a trip and fall. So let's bring in Drew Martin, a man that never trips and falls. Drew, how are you, man? Happy Wednesday.
Andy, I'm doing good, man. Busy time of year. You know, college basketball, college football, the NFL. For me, it's a lot to keep up with, but it's a great time to be a sports bettor. We got college bowl season going, always fun to talk about, which I know we're getting into. And just a little something on what you're talking about. You know, I call it bounce back mode. And unfortunately, I appreciate your intro, Andy, but I do trip and fall in this business. I think all of us do. And to tell you the truth, last week I did. I think we even talked about it on the hit here on this show. And sure enough, over the weekend, bounced back. Got the $5 winner yesterday. So I think I'm feeling a bounce back for you as well, man. So I think you got bounce back written all over you, Andy.
I know we do. Like I've always said, like it's almost scary when you're running over like in the 70 percentile of like wins over a certain period of time because you know it's just not mathematically possible to keep it going. So we try and share. Hey, we're winning a little bit too high, or hey, we're down a little bit. So we'll tell you when we're winning and when we're losing, and when it's a great time to jump in and get our plays. So we're not going to suggest to purchase anything that we're running ice cold in or that's not working.
Sure. And Andy, I just wanted to chime in. Something you said I thought was very insightful. You kind of led to limit the number of plays. I do the same thing. When I'm not seeing it well, it's just a play a night, maybe 2 plays a night. And until you start to find it and find some of these angles, put them on your side. That's a great thing to limit the plays if you're not winning.
And it's the best time to paper trade. It's the best time to actually write out some of the plays that you thought you liked, see if they were good reads, see if they weren't good reads. It's a perfect time to practice that. So
I like that.
All right, let's move to college football. The 68 Ventures Bowl, like I said, I'm glad it's 68 because if it was 6-7, we'd get nonstop celebrations. If it was 6-9, we'd get nonstop jokes about that. So it's the 68 Ventures Bowl, Louisiana and Delaware. I don't know. It seems like the books are not real sure what to do with this game. Whenever I see a -3, that's the books kind of going, not really sure. Over under 62, though. So this is a big number. How do you break this game down?
That's a great point. In terms of the odds makers, -3, you usually throw out in college football maybe 55, 56. But sure enough, both of these offense can score, and both of the quarterbacks are pretty good. I would actually go to this one with the Blue Hens. They let up 52 points to Wake Forest just 2 weeks ago. And I think Louisiana is kind of the stronger roster top to bottom, Andy. That's the reason I would go with the Raging Cajuns. And actually, you can find it 2.5 if you shop around. So I was looking towards the over, but we get a little bit of rain, wind in the forecast in Mobile, Alabama. And that's what's keeping me off of the over, even though I would not be surprised at all if this game touches into the 70s. But like we just saw last night, by the way, this is back-to-back Conference USA versus Sun Belt Conference. So you can kind of take what you saw last night and use it to some degree in tonight's game. But again, I go with I think ULL is going to be able to score here. Lunch Winfield, their quarterback, 3 games already this season with more than 100 yards rushing. I think they're going to put up points here, 30-plus points in their last 4 games. If you need something tonight, it's not something that made the client card for me, Andy, but I would shop around for this Raging Cajuns -2.5. I still like it at 3 to some degree, but I like Louisiana here. And I just lastly, the reason it's not on the client card, I could see Delaware, the Blue Hens. This is their first bowl game. You know, they just stepped up from the FCS level. You know, they're going to be motivated. So it's a good one tonight. Fun one to watch. But if you need something, I would push you towards Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns as the short favorite.
Moving on to college basketball, we got Creighton versus Xavier. This one on paper should be a pretty good game here. Xavier, a little bit of a shorter favorite here. I'm seeing -3.5 here. Over under, I believe, is 152.5. What are we doing with Creighton versus Xavier tonight?
Yes, Cintas Center, Cincinnati, Ohio. Fox Sports 1, by the way, nationally televised game. And not baseball Blue Jays, but the Creighton Blue Jays. You know what I've noticed here, Andy? They play a slow-paced brand of basketball. They've lost their last 2 games to Nebraska and Kansas State. And when you kind of link it up here, going up against Xavier, and by the way, where I'm going with this is towards the under. You can get it at 152.5. Something I like to look at in college basketball a little bit earlier in the season is when teams start in conference play. This is the first Big East conference game for both of these teams. I kind of think defense is at the forefront. So I believe that both of these 2 head coaches going to be, you know, kind of preaching that going into this game. Creighton a little bit banged up at the guard position, and going up against a good defense in Xavier. This is an Xavier team that held their last opponent, Missouri State, to just 57 points. Now they're up against Creighton, slow-paced, a better Creighton team than that Missouri State team. But still, I don't think we get a whole lot of possessions here. Again, 152.5, widely available right now. I don't think we get into the 150s. I like Creighton and Xavier, 6:30 Eastern, little happy hour special here, Fox Sports 1. I like it to the under, Andy.
God, I could use a good happy hour. Although, so I live in this weird state. Indiana, it's a weird state. For the longest time, you couldn't buy alcohol on a Sunday, like but you could go to a bar or a restaurant. You couldn't buy it in a store. So finally, they changed that. Well, happy hours were illegal. So then they made happy hours legal, and nobody embraced them. They're like, from 2 to 2:30, 25 cents off Bud Lights, or like bars and restaurants around here just completely didn't get happy hour. It's one of the most confusing things. I should go around and document all the just horrific happy hours that we have around here. But what a missed opportunity in my state. So
yeah, and that's the state of Indiana.
Yes.
I'll tell you, Andy. I mean, I used to work in the restaurant industry, and I think happy hours are a great business idea. You get people in there 5 right after work, 5 to 6:30, 5 to 7. And sure enough, you give them a little liquid courage. They kind of forget about the clock, and then you start ordering the regular price drinks. I think it's a great way to get people in.
There's no downside. a lot of them are people that wouldn't normally come there. It gets extra revenue for your
Right.
servers and your bartenders, and you get to show your stuff to people that normally maybe hadn't come in on there. They have a good drink, have a good dinner. Maybe that Saturday they're like, oh, let's go back to that. But there's literally no downside to a happy hour. I can't believe places around here don't embrace this. So, well, let's embrace Drew Martin. His bounce back is in full effect. So, what do you have up for everyone at Wager Talk?
Yeah, actually, I heard you and Ralph talking. I got my first 5% in college basketball of the entire season going tonight. I got 3 plays off of the $5 Tuesday winner. So you can check that out. Of course, it's a discounted package, 3 for 1 there. WagerTalk.com, experts page, Drew Martin. Feel real good about it. So, yeah, 5% max limit going tonight, college basketball.
All right, let's roll with Drew Martin. Thank you very much, Drew. Good luck on that big bet tonight. Thank you to Drew Martin, always spicing up our Wednesday. We're gonna do a graphic here. The post, we're gonna do a post NBA Cup stats here. I got to tell you that game last night was absolutely incredible. Those who haven't liked the NBA in the past, I get it. The NBA completely deserves it, but they've just been knocking it out of the park. The teams were super motivated. It was high-level basketball. It was intense. It was really, really good. So, all right, let's go over some post-NBA Cup against the spread and over-under leaders. So let's go over some of these records of the teams that have been in covering machines. NBA cover the closing line, the top 3. The Knicks at 18-8, probably not a big surprise there. The Pelicans covering the closing line is insane at 17-10. This goes to show every once in a while there's value in the bad teams. And then the Lakers, who've been a pleasant surprise, are 16-9. Teams that have not been covering, well, sometimes the bad teams are still just bad. The Wizards, 8-16. Meanwhile, the Kings and Clippers coming in at 8-18 each. No surprise there. Those teams have been massive disappointments. We'll go over the overs. The closing line, the top 3 at the first part of the season, you got the Nuggets going well over their total, 17-8. Lakers, absolutely no surprise there. Their offense has been amazing, and their defense has been absolutely atrocious. So they're 17-8. Trailblazers, this is another team, very high in pace, don't have the defense now that all their guards are hurt. So I would almost expect more of that from the Trailblazers. And the top 3 unders teams, the Grizzlies, 9-17. My Indiana Pacers, 9-17, and the Hornets, 9-17. So those are your top covering the spread, not covering the spread, overs and unders. So, all right. We got some specials here at Wager Talk if you all are interested. These are on the specials page. We still have the Weekend Warrior Pass if you're interested in that. We have 10 days, Ralph Michaels. Just mentioned that 10 days for less than $10 per day. The Weekend Warrior comes in at $49. There's 10 days, expert picks for just $99. Again, it's a free $69 pass. And then we still have the buy 3 days all access. Get 1 free. So just win a few days of plays. You can jump all over that. And we also have our full court all access pass, only $49. It gets you 3 full days of NBA college basketball. You want to use it on someone like Drew Martin? He's got a 5% best bet that goes off tonight. Why spend 35 on one play when you can get 49 for 3 days? So, all right. Yes, Josh Hart was very, very happy last night. That was a lot of fun. So, oh, thank you. You good, Andy? Keep your head up. Yeah, I am fine. No, listen, we're not panicking after 2 bad days. We're not panicking, but it's part of my job to monitor it and make sure we don't hemorrhage out a ton of units. So, part of the job is managing the losses because we know we're going to have them. So I don't want to panic, but I want to keep my eye on it, and I want to make sure I'm aware of what's going on with people bankrolls because this affects my bankroll as well. So if I feel the pain, I know all access clients do as well. That's all. All right. Ross, let's bring in Ross, the boss. Benjamin, Ross, always good to see you. I said I needed to pick me up on this Wednesday, and here you are, my friend. It's always good to see you. How are you?
I'm here for you, Andy. It's great, and it's always a pleasure to see you as well, my friend. Happy holidays. And, the good thing about WagerTalk.com and the experts there is the transparency. And not only do we tell you if we're losing or we tell you if we're winning, But if you want to check, as soon as our games go off, you go to our page and you could see exactly what we had for the night. So everything is on the up and up. And having said that, Andy, I've had a tough 5 days after an extremely hot run. And I'm with you. I am very confident in my ability not to extend losing too long, okay? But by the same token, I think Drew brought it up about seeing things clearly. Sometimes the picture gets a little cloudy when we have a bad week or bad few days. And then we have some bad luck along the way. Like I had an under 237.5 yesterday, or not the day before that in the NBA, and the game ends up going overtime and I lose where I would have had the under in regulation. Those but when you're going good, those breaks go for you too, right? So that's
Isn't
just
that
the
the
way
truth?
of nature. So people will tell me all the bad breaks go against me. It's because you remember those and you forget about the ones you win that you had no right winning.
Yes, it's so true. When you're running cold, that's when you lose by half. That's when you lose by the hook. When you're running hot, that's when you win all those ones by the hook. So we got 2 NBA games I want to go over. I showed those graphics about some of the top 3 teams covering, not covering overs.
Can I
and
comment
unders.
on that real
Of course.
quickly? I know we're limited for time, but those season-long numbers sometimes can be deceiving. And I say that because just like what have I done for you lately? Because I'll tell people how well I've been doing over the last 7 months. And if they join me in the last 4 days, they're saying you're full of baloney. The same thing applies to looking at these NBA numbers or in any sport when you're looking at a season-long number as we approach the halfway point or beyond. I look at more of what the trend or tendencies of teams are in recent games. And sometimes you go back 5 games, sometimes you go back 10 games. And you mentioned pace. That's a pretty good example that some teams may have started the year playing at a very fast pace and found that, their personnel, that doesn't work for them. And they've had more success slowing it down. So, it's something to just share with the audience how I approach things anyway. The season-long numbers don't lie, right? But when you come to handicapping games every day, I want to know what's going on recently.
I agree. And also you look at some of these numbers and it's like, well, are the Nuggets going to go over at that percentage for the rest of the season? Probably not. And the books know this, and the books are going to make adjustments as well.
They keep going up in the totals, right? I mean,
absolutely.
The Chicago game in Cleveland game tonight is going to be a perfect example of 2 teams that really started out as high-scoring teams. Well, Cleveland still is, but things have changed, especially for the Chicago Bulls.
Well, let's go right into it because you're right. This Cleveland Cavaliers, I love them coming into the regular season. I have a future on their over-win totals, and it looks disastrous. Mobley's hurt. Jared Allen is regressed. It's all Donovan Mitchell. And yet they're still minus 5.5-point favorites. This Bulls team, boy, they started out great. Oh, giddy. And boy, they've regressed too. Over-unders 242.5. What's your breakdown on these games that have regressed since the hot start?
Thank you, Andy. If indeed, the Bulls did start out hot. I believe they're 1-9 straight up and 1-7-1 against the spread in their last 9 games or 10 games, whatever. But in any event, I'm going to look at the total here, which is 242.5. And, this matchup is being bet over at a high rate since the opening number. And it's escalated to 242.5. Some places even 243. And again, if you look at the season-long numbers of both teams, it makes a lot of sense to go over the total, even at this high a number. However, recently, the Chicago Bulls have played 5-0 to the under in their last 5 at home. Those 5 home games had an average total of 238.3 and was only 223.4 points per game. And offensively, over their last 5 home games, the Bulls, who were so good offensively to start the year, over their last 5 at home, averaging less than 105 points per game. 41.1% from the field and 28.3% from beyond the three-point line. So they're really struggling, and especially so at home in recent outings. And the Bulls also, their last 3 games in which they had a total of 240 or greater, which is high, even by NBA standards. They've gone under the total in all 3, and there's only been 220.3 points scored per game in those contests. So they played on the under recently more than people would see if you look at their overall numbers. Now, the Cleveland Cavaliers this year, whenever they play a team like the Chicago Bulls, who have a win percentage of 250 to 400, they sort of play down to the competition, and it shows in the total because their average total in those 5 games, 236.7 and only 226 points combined scored per game. And the Cavs also are 3-0 to the under in their last 3 when there's been a total of between 240 and 245.5. In that sweet spot, they've gone under in all 3 of those games, and only 223.7 points scored per game. Cleveland, their last 5 offensively, they have not shot the ball well at all. 42.6% from the field, 27.5% from beyond the three-point line. Some of that has to do with injuries. Some of it just has to do with poor offense. In Chicago, over their last 5 games, they're only averaging a tad over 106 points per game, 44% shooting, and a miserable 29.7% from beyond the three-point line. When you get 2 ice-cold three-point shooting teams in recent games like both of these teams, you have to factor that in, especially when you're looking at a total this high. And Cleveland, by the way, they're number 8 in defensive efficiency and number 8 in field goal percentage defense. So in spite of the fact that they're vastly underachieving, as Andy well knows this season, they've continued to play pretty good defense. I like this game to go under the total of 242.5.
All right. We've got another good one, Grizzlies and Timberwolves. The bummers, we got 2 guys that are questionable, Anthony Edwards and Ja Morant, the 2 big names here. Wolves, though, been playing well, and this is reflected in the line, -7.5. I like this Wolves team. I think they're kind of a little bit of a sleeper in the West. Obviously, you got the juggernauts, but I wouldn't sleep on the Wolves to be pesky in the playoffs. We got an over-under at 230.5. We mentioned this Grizzlies team has been an under team first part of the year. How do you break this one down?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on Minnesota and how pesky they are, and they're definitely a tough out. I don't agree with you on them being a sleeper anymore. It's time for them to step up and make a deep run and even get to the NBA Finals. Having said all that, we're looking at a Minnesota team that has not covered 5 of their last 6 games as a favorite of 8.5 or less. So they're in that category tonight, or I should say point spread parameter at -7.5. And Memphis, 8-3 straight up in their last 11, 5-1 straight up in ATS in their last 6 on the road. The Memphis Grizzlies have shot 50% or better in 4 of their last 5 road games. Defensively in their last 5, 106.8 points per game and 44.1%, allowing opponents to shoot. And you know what? I mean, here's the thing. Anthony Edwards and Ja Morant, questionable. We haven't seen a ton of line movement other than it go down from 8 to 7.5. I like Memphis a lot better with, I don't think Memphis suffers as much without Ja Morant as Minnesota would suffer with Anthony Edwards. And I say that in light of what the current point spread is, okay? Because Memphis has shown they have quality depth. If you look beyond Ja Morant, I believe they have 5 players actually, because Zach Edey's out, 5 players averaging double figures beside those 2 players. So they have the arsenal in the roster and the depth to stay in this game. I like Memphis plus 7.5 at Minnesota tonight. Andy, if I could just share something else in terms of this matchup, if you don't mind.
Sure.
All right. So the first half total in this game is 118.5. The game total is 230.5. Okay. Here's what I'm going to suggest, folks. if this game goes over, and only if it goes over that first half total of 118.5, make a live bet at halftime on going under the total. And especially so if you get a number of 233.5 or greater. Because if you look at these teams' first half, second half splits on the road this year, the Memphis Grizzlies score 52.9 points per game in second half action and 58.9 points in the first half. So on the road, their offensive production in the second half really sags. In Minnesota, over their last 5 games, they've scored just 54.6 points per game at the half and 62 points per contest in the second half. So again, to be clear, okay, only if this game goes over the first half total of 118.5, we're going to get a better number to go over the total than the game total, okay, which is 230.5. And even as high as 233.5 or greater, I definitely would like going over the total in this game. So in the second half. So there you have it. It's my breakdown on what you should do in that regard. Actually, whatever the number is in the second half, I shouldn't say 233.5 or greater. 233.5 was the opening total. So what I'm trying to say is any number that we could get in the second half is surely going to be better than the opening total if indeed this game goes over the total of 118.5 in the first half.
All right. Yeah, Ross, it's crazy. It's like Memphis might miss Zach Edey more than John Morant. It's just like that's a real thing.
Look, it's one of those situations that over the long haul, it's going to hurt not having John Morant. But in the short term, there's enough depth there, especially as a sizable underdog, to give Memphis some value. So we'll see. And like I said, Minnesota, they failed to cover 5 of their last 6 as a favorite of 8.5 or less, which shows when they're, they blow teams out as a 9 or above, and I don't know how they do as an underdog, but my concern tonight is how they do as a favorite in this parameter, and they haven't done very well of late.
Yeah, I have to agree. Tough game. If you want to play it, maybe wait for injuries or take Ralph's suggestion. So, Ralph, what do you have up for everyone at WagerTalk? I know we got the Weekend Warrior for just $49.
My name's Ross. Ralph is the guy that was previous.
I told you. It's been a morning, Ross.
It's okay. It's okay. I've been called worse than Ralph, and maybe some would argue. I don't know. Anyway, look, I got a great special going on right now. Usually our 365-day all-access pass is $1,999. Now, site-wide, we brought that price down to $1,499, and we've also included a 25% bonus coupon that you could use toward any other purchase from any other handicapper on the site throughout the entirety of that 365 days. It's just a great special because if you're looking to make money over the long haul, that's the way to go. For a limited time, they're going to take my price. WagerTalk's taking my price down to $1,188, okay, which is $811 off the normal price. And if you divide $1,188 by 12, as long as my math is correct, it's $99 a month it comes to. And why should you entertain doing that? Well, even with a tough last 4 or 5 days, since May 13th, I'm still plus 175 units in net profit at WagerTalk. So again, college football up another great regular season. I started the Bulls season last night with the winner on Jacksonville State. The NFL has done quite well over the last 5 weeks. NBA off to a 24-17 start to the season. College basketball starting to heat up as well. 1188, but you have to use that URL, wt.buzz/Ross365. That's wt.buzz/Ross365. You'll see it right below me on the screen. Thank you, Chris, for putting that up for me.
Awesome stuff. Ross, the boss, thank you very much, Ross. You
always make a pleasure, Andy.
A little bit better. Thanks, Ross. Ross Benjamin, right. Everyone, use that promo code. Get a discount on 365 days. All right, let's do all around the world. Do with these what you want. My record the last few days in these have been atrocious. So we'll go to that's yesterday's. Chris, so go ahead and pull that one off. I'll go ahead and just read this. I'll read the ones that I have. I get the Cavs and the Bulls. Patrick Williams over 10.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He's barely getting over this, but he is getting over 15-5 over the last 20 and over in 6 straight. The Cavs are 30th in points, rebounds, and assists allowed to power forwards. He doesn't start, but he does play like 20 minutes, 21 minutes. So if we get a pretty good effort from him tonight, maybe we get over this total. We'll go to college basketball. South Florida at Alabama, under 182. This is a free play on the WagerTalk live odds page. South Florida start off the season fast paced, but they've slowed down. So has their 3-point shooting. The coaches really know each other. This was an assistant coach that came from Alabama that's now at South Florida. So when we're looking at knowing teams and knowing how to possibly slow down this fast pace of Alabama, potentially that could be a way to get to the under. Here, Chris, I'll send you the graphic right now, and we'll see if we can put this up on the screen for everybody because everyone loves the graphics. Sorry, Chris. Chris is mad at me for not sending him the right graphic. Sending it right now. All right, and then last one, the Wolves and the Grizzlies. Jaren Jackson, under 26.5 points, rebounds, and assists. 10-5 to the under with Zach Edey out of the lineup, which is really counterintuitive. My guess is the books are probably upping this PRA total with Edey out, but the fact is Jaren Jackson just has not really been getting it done. He's only making 6.7 field goal attempts in those games, only 9.8 rebound chances, 3.5 attempts. So Jaren Jackson's one of those guys where he should be a better rebounder. I don't know why he can't rebound the way that he does. So, but we're going to take a look at Patrick Williams over his points, rebounds, and assists. Alabama and South Florida under 187, and the Wolves and the Grizzlies under 26.5 points, rebounds, and assists. So, all right, that's going to do it for us. It's been quite the day. We cap it off with Tom 1958 completely assaulting me in the comments section. Thank you very much, Tom. Appreciate the guys that actually bring something nice to the chats, bring some positivity, bring something helpful. You guys know I love you guys, and the show really does bring a smile to my face every single day. So shout out to everybody in the chat, and we're going to pick a winner from yesterday's showdown between me and Jesse. So everybody that left a comment, you had a chance to win a 3-day pass. So thank you very much, Chris, for sitting in for Dan, and thank you to you guys. Make sure you hit the like button and leave a comment below. Really helps the algorithm out. Have a great Wednesday. Let's cash some bets. Good luck on all your bets tonight. We'll see everyone tomorrow. Take care.